I think one of the reasons we are where we're at as a country and in the world is because the United States of America never feels the repercussions of our constant global imperialism and the wars that we have waged. Really, since like World War II, Vietnam era, we haven't really felt or seen the full repercussions of our actions around the globe. I mean, we have in small ways, if you actually pay attention to what's going on. But if you're the type of person who likes to disconnect from what's going on in the world and just focus on your life, it's been very easy to do that, to not feel what is going on. I remember when I was in Afghanistan in 2014, I remember hearing that it had been announced on the news or something that we were like that there was no more war, basically, and I still had to go on patrol. I didn't get that memo, but the people back in the States were not feeling what was going on. And that has been the overwhelming majority of our country. Most people have not felt what the repercussions of what we are doing around the globe. So it's been easy to tune it out and turn it off, or just not buy into it and say that it's not real or that it's propaganda or something like that. And with this rise of instant gratification in our society, with this rise of Netflix and delivery services and ordering online and all this stuff, I'm not saying that all that stuff is bad. I'm just saying that when everything that you think you need in life is at the push of a button at the end of your fingertips, it's easy to tune out from what's going on around you and what's going on around the world. And I say this all the time, that is the reason the United States is where it's at, because Americans do not feel the repercussions of America's actions. You know what I mean? Americans don't feel the repercussions of what they've been voting for or who they've been supporting politically or anything like that. When we bomb another country on the other side of the globe, if anybody talks about it, it'll be Fox News, and the only thing they're talking about is how good it is that we blew them up and how the people are thanking us for destroying their homes. And maybe gas prices will rise a little bit. That's the most people interact with these wars around the world, with these horrible things that the United States has participated in. That, overwhelmingly, they haven't really felt anything here in the States, and they haven't really seen anything here in the States. That is going to change if we put boots on the ground in Iran. That will change. It will be the biggest Band-Aid ripoff the United States people have ever seen in their lives. There will be no shying away from the realities of war. And we're not even going to talk about like economically here. We're not going to talk about how we would feel it financially here in the States within our quality of life. I'm just going to talk about coming face to face with the monster that is war. Okay? I saw one other video about this, and I have seen nobody else talking about this. If you watch the war in the Ukraine, it is a painted picture for what we are going to see our sons and daughters experience. Okay, I want you to think about this. The last massive conflict that we had between two actual military forces, I'm not talking about the global war on terror here, okay? That was us versus homegrown warriors, you know what I mean? It wasn't an actual military fight. Iran has a military, and they have the benefit of location. Location matters, and everybody knows it matters because you've all heard the story of the Spartans, how they killed thousands of people with a couple hundred men because of the location of the battle. Iran has that benefit, they have the rocky mountain terrain, the coastline. They have the benefit of that, okay? And they've known this war is coming for 40 fucking years. You know who has been all over the place trying to get the United States to go to war with them. So they knew that this was coming. So they've been preparing for almost 50 years for this fight, okay? Now, if you look at the fight in Ukraine, if you have not been paying attention, it is absolute obliteration. We're really good at that nowadays as a species. Humans are really good at that. Think about the amount of money that has been funneled into war in the past 60, 70 years, you know what I mean? In development of weapons for those wars. The last big conflicts we had between military forces and shit, the weapons were what we had back then, and they were bad enough, right? What we have now is a different level, okay? Just our soldiers alone carry weapons that are able to fire bigger rounds at faster rates, and more people have them. Every squad has like an AT-4 or a SMAW-D, which is a rocket launcher. You know what I mean? The amount of destruction that we have at our fingertips now is immensely higher than it was in the last like real conflict like that. We've invested trillions of dollars in missiles and bombs and all kinds of shit like that, okay? All of that stuff. We have spent an endless supply, an endless pit of money learning how to destroy things and decimate. If we go to war, if we put boots on the ground in Iran, we're going to get 4K footage of that, okay? It's going to be absolute bloodbath slaughter on both sides. And the American people have never seen in 4K footage in real time US soldiers, kids that are 18 to 19 years old, begging and pleading for their lives with snot pouring out of their noses, begging to go home to their mommies before being killed. Because that will happen. That footage will make it to the internet. It's all over the internet right now in the Ukraine. If you look at the battlefields that they're fighting in, the countryside just flattened by artillery. They're literally crawling and fighting over dead bodies, skulls and skeletons that have rotted into the dirt. And they're joking about it while they move through it to fight more people. But the real threat is the drones. We've been comfortable spending millions of dollars on one missile, hundreds of thousands of dollars on rockets and stuff like that. They don't have to do that anymore. They have drones. They could spend a couple $100 to $1,000 on a drone and get 4K footage of them blowing people up. Front row seats. Front row seats, and you know they love propaganda to talk about who's winning the war. It'll come out on both sides. And when you watch it happen in the Ukraine, it's happening in a different language than English. So if you watch it, it's easy to be desensitized to it because you don't know what this soldier who was begging for his life with snot running down his face is saying because you can't understand it. That will not happen in the war in Iran between the United States. We will watch our sons and daughters beg in 4K with snot, tears, blood, the blood of their friends, the brain matter of their friends all over their faces. They will beg for their lives and their mommies and daddies before dying an unnecessary death in 4K. And we will see it and we will hear it. And the American people will feel it. Mark my words, if we go to war, if we go fight boots on the ground in that country, the American people are going to have the biggest Band-Aid ripoff they've ever had in their lives. Because we won't be able to turn away from the 18-year-old kids. We won't be able to.